friends, 2 time zones, and a shared love of stories.
I'm Freya.
And I'm Jamie.
Bridging time zones 1 chapter at a time.
Welcome to Once Upon a Time Zone.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Once Upon a Time Zone. Today we have a little bit of a different episode for us, I would say. We're going to be talking about some viral, I would say specifically BookTok books that we have absolutely no interest in reading, and we're going to be explaining ourselves. We're going to be telling you our reasons. So I'm excited to get into it. But of course, before we get into that, we have to go over what we're currently reading. So Jamie, what are you currently reading?
Yep. So I just started The Names by Florence Knapp. I've been wanting to read this for so long. I think I got it at the beginning of summer or maybe during spring of this year because I got it from Book of the Month when it came out. And I've been so curious about it because the concept of it is so interesting. Have you heard of this one?
I haven't. I was about to say, can you give me a little blurb?
Yeah. Okay. So this is a literary fiction. But the whole premise of it is we follow a mother. She has a 9-year-old daughter and an abusive husband, which is very sad. She also has a newborn son, like a very, very fresh baby. And she's about to go to like the office to register the name for her son. But when she goes, she kind of has 3 options that she's torn between. So one option is Gordon, which is also the name of her husband. And so he's the one that wants to name his son Gordon because it's like a family tradition. Every male in their family is always named Gordon. But the mom doesn't want to name him Gordon because she's like, if I name him Gordon, he's going to follow into his father's footsteps. And I don't want him to be like his father. So that's one option. The second option is Julian. That's kind of the mother's personal preference. And then the third option is Bear, which is the daughter's preference. She's like, I want a brother named Bear because it's cute and whatever. So we split into 3 alternate parallel timelines where she chooses each of these 3 names for the son. And then we go on through like their lives and how different they would be depending on what she chose for the name. So yeah, it's so interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. And I will say it's very, very, very sad so far. I mean, like with the whole situation at home with the husband and everything, like it's quite dark and sad. And I'm hoping it's not going to be all sad because I'm like 50 pages in. But it's such an interesting concept. I want to see how it plays out. And I want to see, I'm already starting to see differences in like if she named him this or if she named him this.
Yeah.
And like each
That's
outcome.
So cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever read a book like that before with the alternate endings?
No, the thing it reminded me of the most was actually, have you seen 500 Days of Summer?
Yeah.
And the scene where he's like going into the party and then it splits into like 2 screens and on each side he like acts differently at the party. It's reminding me of that. That's like a much happier version of the concept. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of takes the tone of that, but more serious and sad.
That's so cool. You'll have to let me know how it ends up because I feel like, I mean, I used to read books like that, but I mean, they were like kids' books and, you know, it was like choose your own ending. Did you ever read those books?
Yes. Okay, there was one.
And I was obsessed with them.
Yeah, there was one I read. It was called like the Cave of Time or something. It was a time travel cave. So if you turned right or left, you would go into the past or the future, and like some endings you would die because like a dinosaur ate you, and some endings you would go to like the end of the world and you would die that way. I don't think I ever survived in any of the endings, but it was a really fun choose your own adventure.
That's so much fun. I feel like this book won't be that fun, but like same idea.
Yeah. No dinosaurs, but that's okay.
Probably not the end of the world. Well, no, I'm very curious to see what you end up like rating it as a whole. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so far the writing is very good. The writing is beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
It's very sad, but the writing is so good that I'm just like soaking it all in. So far so good. But what are you reading?
So I'm currently reading Kingdom of Copper. This is the second book in, I think it's called the Daverbound trilogy. The first book is City of Brass. I read the first book way too long ago. I think it was almost a year ago. But I remember, you know, really, really liking it. I think I talked about it in the series we're currently reading episode.
Yes.
But we're basically set in Cairo It's a very, very unique magic system. It's unlike anything I've read before, and we are following 3 different characters. Ali, I want to say, oh my gosh, I've had a blank. You know when you see the name in your head and you can't, I know the girl's name is Nari. I think it's like Deva or Dora, the other character. I'm seeing it in my head, but I don't know. I think it's Deva. But yeah, we are following 3 separate characters. And this one, I remember enjoying the first book. I think I gave the first book a 4 stars. This one, I don't know what it is. We've had a massive time jump, which I didn't expect because that's pretty unusual for like a trilogy. And I am so hooked. I am so hooked, and I am just every spare second I get, I'm sitting down. I've got it on my Kindle and I've got a physical copy. So like whenever I'm out and about, I can be reading it on my phone or something. And then whenever I'm home, I can be reading the physical copy. I feel like that's when you know that it's a good book. It's an addictive book. Yeah. So
wait,
I'm having a lot of fun.
Is this one YA or adult?
Yeah, it's YA. It's very, at least, like I haven't actually looked it up because I borrowed these books from my friend, but it feels very YA. Like there's no kind of darker themes or anything like that. And as far as world building and politics go, it's pretty simple. Like there's definitely, it's definitely there. Like it definitely establishes a really good world. But yeah, it's not anything, it's not Way of Kings or anything like that.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, the series that I've seen time jumps like that in, usually they're adult books that are more complex and they kind of need the time to cook everything.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen a YA like that, I don't think.
I was confused. I was reading and then I read like the sentence where it was like this amount of time has passed, and I went back and I like reread that whole page and I was like, did I read that correctly? I was really confused, but it's working.
How much time? How much time passed?
5 years.
Oh, that is a big time jump.
Yeah, because like I can't explain it, but it's kind of bizarre. Like the ending of the first book, I kind of expected to pick up exactly where we left off, and then it was just like 5 years has passed, and I was like, wow, okay, things. I mean, to be fair, it's probably quite realistic because like in terms of like wars and everything like that, like it doesn't happen in a few months. It's, you know, it's a long process. Sadly.
Yeah. No, I kept noticing that when I was reading the Jade City trilogy. The third book spans over 20 years just in the one book.
What? That's okay. Yeah. So I've heard a lot of people say it's the same vibe as like, you know, that I can't describe it, but that very specific fantasy vibe that feels very 2010 fantasy-ish. And it's YA, but like you've still got a really great magic system and a little subplot of Rome. Like it's that vibe. And I'm loving being back in that. So now I'm like, okay, once I finish this trilogy, I feel like I'm going to have to go on to Jade City. Finally.
Yes.
That one's been a long time coming.
Yes, please. I need to know your thoughts on that one. Anyways, we do have some fun little catch-up things to talk about too. So, fun book announcement. The Knave in the Moon. Is that what it's called? That's what I wrote. The Knave in the Moon?
I think so.
And the Moon? The Knave in the Moon?
I think so. Do you want me to look it up whilst you're explaining?
Yes. Fact check. So this is the second book in the Night and the Moth duology. So we're going to finish the series. The release date has been set. It's September 2026. I'm so excited.
You were correct, by the way. That is the correct name.
The Knave in the Moon. So it's such a unique name, I feel like.
And the Moon, sorry. The Knave and the Moon.
Okay, yeah, I was like, in the Moon sounds weird. I don't know why I typed in our episode notes.
The Knave and the Moon.
But yeah, exciting book announcement. Like, we both loved The Night and the Moth, so it's going to be good.
I love Rachel Gillig. She creates she just like has the most insanely unique ideas for her magic systems and her worlds that I feel like are pretty simple. Like, you know, divination isn't this insanely, I don't know, really unique subject, but putting that in like a magical setting is quite, like, I haven't read a book like that before. And same with the tarot cards in the Shepherd King duology. I mean, who thinks of that? It's so great.
And it's also the way she does it. Like, yes, like divination is not that creative, but the way she does it with the drowning and the, like, everything and the symbols specifically is so cool. Yeah, so excited for that. Something else we found out in the last week is that Freya and I are the same height.
I feel
Fun
like we
fact.
should know this because we literally have had a podcast together for like a few months now. But I mean, like, we've never met each other. How would I kind of realized that, like, how would we know this?
Yeah, the thing is, so like I've worked a couple of like, remote jobs at this point too. So sometimes a lot of your coworkers you only see like chest up on video call. And so I was working at this company for months and I had met all these people. I like called them every single day, talked to them every single day. And then we had one, like our first in-person gathering, like team bonding event or whatever. And we all like walked in and everyone was just so surprised at everyone's heights because I don't know, like when you look at someone, you always picture them as a certain height. And then when they're not that height, it's so confusing. So we are both 5'2". We are both very short.
Yep.
I thought you were taller
like-
than me.
I get that all the time. I was going to say, I went to a book event like in Sydney the other month, and some of the people there were like, why did I expect you to be so much taller than you are? And in comments when I've said, like when I was putting up my bookshelf, I was like, yeah, look, it looks really big, but I'm pretty short. I'm like only 5'2", and everyone was like, I thought you were way taller than that. So I guess I give off taller,
You do.
maybe not tall person, but like taller person
I was
vibes.
thinking like 5'5" or 5'6". That's what I was
I
thinking.
mean, that would make sense. My sister's that height. Everyone else is taller than me. I'm just,
What
I'm
happened?
short. I don't know. But no, that's hilarious. I saw it on Jamie's Instagram. I think you went apple picking. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a poll and it was like, it had the height. Jamie was standing next to it and it showed Jamie's height in like feet and inches. And the comment, oh, your little bio was, or caption rather, now you know how short I am. And I was just texted and I was like, yep, same. Like I'm literally the exact same height.
We literally keep finding similarities between
It's
like
hilarious.
every like month we find out something new. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're the same again.
I feel like I don't know. I didn't really think you were like super tall. So I think I wasn't that surprised. I thought you were kind of like maybe a little bit tall, like 5'4" maybe. But yeah,
Okay.
similar height. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing too tall.
Yeah. I don't know why. I hadn't thought about it too much, to be honest.
You never wondered how tall I was?
It really hadn't passed my mind.
One more thing happened this
Yeah.
past week. I saw RF Kuang.
Do you have, for the video viewers, do you happen to have your books to show the, like, absolutely, or just insert a photo or something? Because they were a
I'll
sight.
get
Yeah.
Just rearranging everything. Don't mind me. But yeah, I did go to her tour for Catabasis. So
Look at those. Now that is a beautiful sprayed edge. Those are sprayed edges worth having.
they're so beautiful. This book is also very square, which is very odd. Just the proportions of it for everyone watching on video, it's very square. And I don't know why. But it's also very heavy. The paper quality is wonderful. The paper is so thick. It is
so
beautiful.
nice.
And
Yeah, I feel like this is the best part. Yeah, there we go.
signed with a tour stamp and everything. And when I was like walking up in the line to like sign the books and everything, I guess, see, I forgot that she would know my name because she was signing my name on the book and it was on a sticky note on the book. She opened my book to sign. She looked up at me and said, "Thanks for coming, Jamie." And I blacked out. I was like, how do you know my name? It's like, oh my God, she's magical. She knows my name. She could just like read my mind. and,
I mean, I
figure out
wouldn't
my
put it past
name.
her, to be honest.
But I was like, I almost fainted. I swear. I was like, hold on.
That is
My like
crazy.
favorite author, like my hero, is like saying my name and she's right here in front of me. Yeah, and I also
gosh.
got The Burning God signed because this book broke me and I told her this book broke me and she just like laughed. I was like, okay.
I feel like she enjoys that. I've seen a few interviews of her saying, like, people saying how traumatized they were by her books, like in the best way possible. But, you know, and she kind of just laughs.
Yeah, she's like, okay, I know.
As if she didn't write just
Okay.
masterpieces, just casually.
Yeah, no, but that was a wonderful experience. She is so smart because you always see videos of her in interviews and talking about her books and writing and everything, and you get the idea, you get the impression she is just so smart. She's so intellectual, but also so caring and so sweet. And just seeing it in person, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
That's so cool. I feel like there is a really big difference in like watching interviews where it's all cut and kind of pasted together and like just seeing them naturally. Like just they're there. They're in the flesh. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and she said she's an introvert. She's very shy. She was actually very scared to go on tour, and I was like, I feel you. Not that I'm going on a, worldwide tour for my book.
We will not be doing a podcast tour anytime soon.
No, it was a wonderful evening. It was so cool.
Are you still like processing it?
Yeah, it still kind of feels unreal. Like,
yeah,
I've just loved her books for so long, and seeing her in the flesh and seeing her talk about her books, it actually made me appreciate catabasis even more because I enjoyed the book. I really liked it, but it's like always when you're hearing their process when they're writing it and they're like what they really meant to do with their themes and stuff, you gain another appreciation for those books. So it always makes me want to bump up books like in the ratings. Like I rated it a 4-star and I'm like, but maybe it's a 4.5.
Yeah.
Because now I see like
you've got like an emotional attachment as well.
Yeah. And I'm like, if every author could kind of like present their thesis of their book to me like, after I've read them, maybe I would bump every book up a rating.
Yeah, speaking of books and like ratings and everything like that, I was looking at your list that we're about to go over, and there are some popular books on here that are rated very high on Goodreads. I was guys, I think you're going to be shocked by this list because I was shocked by this list. So I feel like we should get into it. This is more for my benefit. I want to hear Jamie's reasons why. My list is like 4 books and you're
I'm like, there are so many books I don't want to read.
I feel like this was a big thought process. So yeah, do you want to kick us off with your first book?
Yeah, so Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Or this is kind of like a whole genre thing. Like any of the hockey romances, like I wrote, or any of the pucking type books because like there are so many. There's like pucking around, there's pucking. I can't think of any of them right now, but there's multiple pucking
I know what
books.
you mean. They use that like I can't think of the word. They use the word pucking though in like as a play on so many of the titles.
Yeah, like pucking everything. Like,
yeah,
puck away. I don't know. I have no interest in a hockey romance. I just don't. I never want to pick it up. I actually was very hesitant to pick up Beartown for that reason because it's not a romance, but it's about hockey, and I'm Canadian and I don't care about hockey.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is a little bit odd.
Yeah. I think it's honestly just sports in general, though. I've never been one to love going to a sporting event, and I feel like all of my life I have been forced to go to sporting events just because that's what people do.
Would you read any other kind of sports romance, or have you just that genre in particular you kind of stray away from?
So I was trying to see what sports romances I had read in the past, and I've read From Lukov with Love, which is figure skating. I've read, The Favorites isn't really a romance, but that's figure skating. Yeah. And then I've read Deep End, which I didn't love, but that's like diving and swimming.
Yeah.
But in terms of ball sports, I just don't care about them.
Or puck sports, I guess.
Or puck sport. Yeah, puck or ball. Either one. I just have no interest. I feel like I would have zero interest in the main male character, like the love interest, because I'm just scared that a lot of their redeeming qualities or attractive qualities will just be about the fact that they play this sport and that, I don't know, their bodies or whatever, like toned and muscular from hockey, from pucking.
Yeah.
And I just have zero urge to pick up this, like any book from this entire genre.
I get it. Like those, to me, those are books that are like little brain breaks. Like I pick up those books, like the Windy City series is my ultimate brain break series because I didn't read that series being like, oh my God, I have to like see what happens. I'm so excited for this one. I read that series as I really need to give like my brain a break. I need to switch it off and I just want to read something fun. So I read the entire series. Like those kind of books are just I'm going to switch off completely right now and just read. I think where it comes from is it feels like watching a chick flick. Like, you know, She's the Man, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've never been a sporty girl either, but I think the kind of the sporty vibe, I don't mind. Like it feels like a chick flick to me. It feels like I'm just watching something and I'm there for that.
I feel like they just like smell though. That's the other thing. Like realistically, this guy's not going to smell good.
Yeah,
and like
no,
coming
we don't
from
think of these. We don't think of these realistically.
coming from a time and an age when every love interest is described by scent, whether it's pine or mist or cedar or whatever. Like what we're back to the scents. What is a hockey player gonna smell like in a book? They'd probably say mist just because it's wet.
Like musty.
The sea. He smells like the sea because he's sweaty and salty.
No, that I feel like with these kind of books, you definitely can't think too much about them because there's so much. Like, do professional sports players actually have time to be going to the pub after every game and, you know, hanging out with this girl? Like, no. They probably don't. Well, honestly, most of them probably don't even drink during the season. Like, there's a lot of... Yeah, that is probably one thing that I do always pick up on. They're always like, oh, we're going out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, you've got a game tomorrow. Like, really?
Like, you're on a strict diet plan right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you're an elite athlete. Each their own, I guess. Yeah. No, this one makes sense to me. And it's specifically Icebreaker. Like, I think there's enough. I don't think you're going to love it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you'd hate it, but I don't think you'd love it.
Yeah, I think with that one too, I've just seen enough of it on TikTok and stuff that I'm like, I feel like I've read the book just from seeing people talk about it. Like, I don't need to read it.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Yeah, mine kind of goes on from that. Like a book, seeing it on TikTok so much that I just feel like I'm not going to enjoy it. And that is Throttled, or the whole series by Lauren Asher. I kind of have this like love-hate with Lauren Asher because I read the fine print and I did not like that book. Like there was not one single aspect of that book that I enjoyed, mainly because the male protagonist was just on my nerves the entire time. I was like, you are so annoying. But then I read The Striker. Wait, no, that's Anna Huang. What was it? Sorry. They all have the same cover. Love Arranged, Love Rearranged, that series.
Oh,
Lakefront,
I've seen
the
those.
Lakefront Billionaire series. I read them and I actually don't mind them. Like, I just find them fun, kind of millionaires, small town series. But the Throttled series, it's an F1 romance, if I'm not wrong.
Oh.
And
that makes sense.
I
the title.
have never had an interest in F1.
Me neither.
I feel so
but
left
everyone
out
else does.
When it comes to Australia, because it's in Melbourne, like that's where it comes. And I swear to God, every single person I know is so excited and is going. And I'm just like, guys, I genuinely would care more about the football. And that's saying something. Like,
yes, same.
I just don't understand.
I'll read a pucking book over.
Yeah, exactly.
An F1 book.
And I had kind of seen this book everywhere and I didn't really know what it was about. And then I saw somebody say like it's an F1 romance. And then I started doing a little bit of research and I was like, yeah, no. If I struggle with Lauren Asher's protagonists as a whole. So I'm not drawn to it at all. And I just don't see myself ever picking it up. I think there's other books, other sports romance books I would pick up much quicker than the Throttled series. Yeah, again, just because F1. I'm so sorry if there's F1 fans listening, by the way. I'm sure there is a great appeal to it.
Most people are F1 fans.
Yeah.
We're the weird ones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel left out.
Yeah. No, I feel like sad. I'm like, why don't I love this? Why am I not excited about this?
Honestly, and I feel like that same with you with like the pucking books, that kind of spreads. I've seen a few F1 romances and I just don't think I'd really read them just because I don't understand anything about it either. So I think I'd just be a little bit confused the whole time.
Yeah, we're not in the culture of F1.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get the references or anything.
Literally. I don't even know how a race works. Do they race? Is that what they do?
Is it a race? No, they're just like driving around in circles. I don't know.
It's just like, who's got the coolest car? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I have no idea how it works. But it is funny because I had a Lauren Asher book on my list too. I had the fine print
Yeah.
on my list that I never wanted
Yeah.
to read. And now you've talked me out of it double, so.
I was like rage reading it. I was just like, you were irritating me so much. What is the big appeal about this? And yeah, it was one of those books that I just, when you like start reading it and as soon as you don't connect to the main protagonist or the love interest, either one of them, you're just like, yep, this is going to annoy me for the entire rest of the book.
Yeah. Okay, well,
So that one's easy.
both of us are swearing off Lauren Asher.
Yeah. All right. What is your... Please explain yourself for this next one.
I know. You're going to be so disappointed in me for this
I'm
one,
just
but
confused.
Flawless, or the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. So I've read 3 of the Wild Love books. What are they called again? Rose Hill. I always forget.
Rose Hill, yeah.
And I've just been like continuing to pick them up, I think because it's a series that I've started. So I just, when I want, not that I ever want it, but when I'm like, I just need a brain off book, I
Are they
pick
your
these
sports
up.
romances? Like, they're your
I
equivalent?
guess so. But like I'm
Yeah.
kind of over them now. So like they were
Yeah.
my equivalent of sports romance books for the 3 books, but I honestly don't even think I'll pick up the 4th one. And I just don't have any interest in cowboy or small town romance, which I don't know why I picked up Wild Love to begin with. I think they were just cute or like pretty. And,
Yeah,
like,
the
the first
covers.
book is pink. So I was like,
I mean,
okay.
they are really, like, the design was on point for that series, the entire series.
Yeah, they're so cute. So like, okay, I'll pick it up, and when I want to just get a fun romance, I'll read it. And then I did, and then I continued reading them, and I never loved any of them. And I know that the Chestnut Spring series overall is received as better and higher rated in general, I think. But
Yeah.
I have no motivation to pick up another like group of cowboy romances. So even though I know that these ones are better, I just am so uninterested that I just won't do it.
I feel like what was confusing to me was, the fact that you read a lot of the Rose Hill series. And I was like, how did you read, well, until now, all of the books out in that series? Because the 4th one just came out.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, why? Because I feel like it's usually the opposite. People usually read the Chestnut Spring series and not the Rose Hill series.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've seen. Look, I get it. They're nothing, again, they're kind of brain breaks for me. They're fun. I love some of the characters. I'm pretty sure it's getting turned into a TV series, so maybe you can just watch the TV series.
No.
You can do the
not
worst
this
thing as a
again.
reader. You could do the worst thing as a reader possible and not read the books before watching the TV series.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched like The Summer I Turned Pretty and Bridgerton. I watched the
Yeah,
series
that's true.
before I read the book, so I've done it before. I could do it again.
Yeah. Wait, I need to ask you something about The Summer I Turned Pretty after this episode, by the way, because I'm really
Wait.
confused on it all. Because I'm not really up with the hype. And I'm like, are the books the same as the TV series? Why does nobody know what's happening in the TV series?
Oh, I mean, I don't. Can I say it's been out? I don't want to spoil anything, but I think everyone's been confused as to if they were going to follow the books or not because of specific things that the team and Jenny Han did to throw people off. There's a part in the books and in the show where they go to Paris, or at least like Belly goes to Paris.
Yeah.
And they flew both of the brothers out to Paris to film scenes, but half of those scenes were fake scenes. They just set it up so people would take pictures
so it's a
and be
PR.
like, oh, he went to Paris, so that means he's Endgame. And then they'd be like, oh no, but he went to Paris, so he's Endgame. And it caused a lot of confusion. But now that the last season has come out, one of those brothers was not actually in Paris and they were just fake, which is like evil, but kind of genius.
That's kind of genius. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. Because I was so confused. I was like, hasn't everyone read these books? I'm so confused. Why you like don't know what's happening?
Yeah, there might have been some hints of maybe she also said she was changing storylines.
Yeah,
But they
okay.
were side storylines or like, I don't know, it was unclear.
Okay. That was a nice little diversion. But yes, so no
Yeah.
to the Chestnut Spring series.
No to Chestnut Springs.
Okay.
What's your next one?
I feel like you're the same. You literally read the same as this, but anything Penelope Douglas. purely because I think I would be traumatized. Like, I genuinely think I would be traumatized by reading some of her books, because you look at the trigger warnings, you look at the reviews, and people say, don't read this book if you don't like this. And I'm like, that is everything I don't like in my books. So I just am going to take those trigger warnings seriously and not read those books for the sake of everyone.
Yeah, all of the like the taboo stuff, a lot of like related stuff. Like, did you see who was it? Lexi Newly Nova. She read, I think, Credence and made a whole spoiler reading vlog of it, and I watched the entire vlog because I'm like, I'm not going to read these books. Oh my goodness. The things that happen in this book. This is another one. I'm like, I feel like I've read, or at least I've experienced the book because I went through it with Lexi.
I feel like this one's infamous. Like, I feel like everyone knows what this book is about without even reading it. And I think for good reason. I think you should know what those main tropes are before you're going into that.
Yeah, so fair. Yeah, I mean, just not for me, not for you. I'm sure like a lot of people love it. I would love actually to hear explanations or, you know, why people do love it, because it's always interesting seeing other people's opinions and other sides of not arguments, but like debates or discussions. So
yeah, because I mean, I feel like I've kind of just seen a few little points, and I've taken those points personally, and I've been like, yeah, I'm not gonna. For me, I see it as, why would I read it if I'm gonna leave a negative review? Like, I'm most likely going to leave a negative review. So I just don't think it's doing anyone any good in me reading it, because I'm like, I don't want to hate on a book people love. I don't want to not read a book that I'm just not going to enjoy. That's just not my kind of cup of tea.
I try not to hate read. Like, every book I pick up is usually like, there's at least a little bit of a probability that I will like the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What is this next one for you?
I love that you're like peeking and previewing my list. You're like,
I keep like seeing the next book on the list. Guys, we've got a little show notes here, and we put them in lists, and Jamie's just keep taking me by surprise. I feel like mine are really basic, but
I feel like yours all make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you see mine, you look at me and you're like, yeah, okay. But I'm like, really?
Okay. Problematic Summer Romance by Hazelwood. Okay. The thing is, I have not sworn off Hazelwood because I do love a few of her books. I do love them. I enjoy them. I think I do like her writing in general. But this one is the second book to Not in Love. And I really did not like Not in Love because it was more of a serious read, I guess. I love Hazelwood for her humor. I think she is so funny. I think she just needs to continue writing funny books because her jokes are hilarious. But when she started writing these more dramatic romances or serious romances with less humor in them, they just don't work for me. So I really disliked Not in Love. I think a lot of it, there was a lot of spice in it as well, and not a lot of plot, which I was mad about because Not in Love had a plot that I was like, this would be so interesting to read. Similar to Deep End, where I was like, there are so many elements to this that could have been so interesting, but instead she focused on something else. And so I was just very turned off by Not in Love, and because Problematic Summer Romance is in the Not in Love series, I'm like, I probably will not pick this one up, but I will probably pick up Mate. Probably.
No, you will definitely pick up Mate, because oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Like, I have not had that much fun in a book in the longest time. And if you liked Bride, you'll love it. I liked it more than Bride in the end.
Ooh.
And I've always been like a vampire girl. I've always been a vampire girl. I'm always Edward over Jacob, everything. But oh my, look, there were elements where I was like, this is a little odd, but let's be honest, that happened in Bride as well.
It's Hazelwood. There's always going to be something a little bit odd.
And what I love is that she always finds a way to implement a little bit of STEM knowledge. She's just like, it's a little flex or something. She's just like, this is actually, yeah, exactly. And so like when it was talking, because like the main character, she is a hybrid, like, which I'm a little bit confused, half werewolf, half human. But aren't werewolves half wolf, half human? already. So I was a little bit confused on the difference between a half werewolf, half human and just a werewolf.
So she's like a quarter.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. I'm like,
Is that how it
does she
works?
just not like, maybe she just doesn't have the like natural tendencies that werewolves have, or she can't like shift as it, well, that's another whole thing in the story anyway. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. There was some interesting little parts that I was like, so it didn't quite make the 5-star read category, but it was just so much fun. It was literally so much fun. And I was also, I did a reading vlog on this and talking about, it's a paranormal romance without a lot of plot in a sense. Like it's like a romance, just make them werewolves.
Yes. Yeah, just
And it's
plunk them into this slightly magical world, but it's a romance book.
literally,
There's no fantasy.
and I feel like you can't. Yeah, no, it's just like fantasy elements. You can't be too critical about it as well. I feel like because of that, as soon as you start thinking about it too much, that's when you start not enjoying it as much. But in saying that, problematic summer romance, the reason I haven't picked that up yet is I heard it's a really big age gap romance as well.
Oh, yeah, I think I was looking at the summary and it's like 20, like early 20s to like 38 or something.
Yeah. So it's like it's like enough to be considered a big age gap, I think. And for some reason, I mean, I read a few age gaps actually in the Chestnut Spring series that I didn't mind, that like worked because their chemistry worked. But some I've read that really just turn me off age gap romances, and I'm just like, I'm very 50-50 with them. Sometimes I love them, sometimes I really don't.
I feel like I would only kind of enjoy them if they didn't make a big deal out of the age gap, which would kind of defeat the purpose of an age gap romance. But if it was something that kept being mentioned, I think I'd just feel like, why? This is weird.
And
I don't know.
This is why I'm also scared of picking up the next book, again, Elsie Silver in the Rose Hill series. Have you heard the premise?
Yeah, it's like ex-boyfriend's dad.
Yeah. I read that the other day and I was like, that is not where I was expecting to go. But anyway.
That's like, how would that ever work in the long run? If
I have no idea.
Unless the dad and the son never talk, or like,
is it bad
what's
that I'm
Christmas gonna
now
be like?
Because of that, I'm like, I don't think I'll enjoy it, but I'm curious to see how this is going to work out.
Okay, you read it.
Yeah, I'll read it and I'll
update all
report
of us.
back. Yeah. Because I'm curious. Curiosity is getting the better of me, as it usually does. My next series, again, a romance series, the King of Sin series by Anne Huang. I feel like Anne Huang, I have a very similar relationship with Lauren Asher, because I read the first 2 books in the Twisted series. And I don't know if you've read them, but I did not like them. I really, really did not like them. And I felt really bad at the time because it was when I was kind of still getting into, I think it was like a few years ago when I had just started my BookTok account, and I read them because everyone was raving about them, and then I didn't like them and I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh no.
That's a big thing. Like when you start on social media, like you're always at first very scared to disagree with anyone. And then after like a year of doing it, you're like, oh, whatever. Didn't like this.
It's still a little bit scary, I'm not going to lie, when it's a really big like fan base.
Depending on the book. Yeah, definitely depending on the book.
Like, you guys know I've always said that I'm terrified. I feel safe. This is a safe space, but outside of this space, I feel scared to say that I am not the biggest Sarah J. Maas fan in the world. Like, that scares me. To say that ACOTAR isn't one of my favorite series is a very scary thing. Throne of Glass, probably, because it's Throne of Glass. But like, yeah, it's a scary thing to say. But yes, anyway, King of Sin series. I have got to be honest, I don't know too much about what this is about. I just know that it's like billionaire romance. I think the first one, or maybe the last one of them is like marriage of convenience, fake dating. Like, there's just a lot of simple tropes that I wouldn't usually mind, but because I didn't like the Twisted series so much, and people have said the Twisted series is better than the King of Sin series, I've kind of I just don't really see myself picking it up anytime soon. In saying that, I did enjoy The Striker by Anne Huang. That one was good.
What is that one about?
A Premier League football player and a ballerina.
Ball sports. Are you saying ball sports again?
I was scared to bring it up, but you know. No, it surprised me. And the whole reason I read it is because I'd heard people say the same thing, that like they, even if they didn't really like Anne Huang in her other books, like they loved this one. And also the girl had chronic illness rep, and I was like, I didn't realize that until I started reading, and I was like, we love some diversity in our books. Yeah, the characters were, I mean, the main male protagonist was he was a football player. It was pretty much his personality, but I really, yeah, I don't know. Now I'm like curious to go back. But I liked our main female protagonist. She was really cool. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's more of a chance that I won't enjoy this series, and I think that there's other romance series I would enjoy a lot more. I just kind of don't see myself reading it. Have you read any Anna Huang?
I haven't. Anna Huang is actually on my don't read list. Not on this list for this
Yeah, I was about to say, is it?
episode, but she's on that list for me too. I think it's mostly just the billionaire romance thing. There are so many romance kind of subtropes or subgenres that once you add a word to the romance, for some reason it throws me off. Like if you just tell me something's a romance, but then there happens to be a rich person or there happens to be a sport, I will probably accept it. But if you start labeling books hockey romance or billionaire romance or cowboy romance, for some reason it turns me off. I don't know why.
No, I see what you mean. It kind of makes it feel less serious. It feels less like a love story, more like kind of, as I said, like a chick flick. Like it feels very simple. I think if I heard somebody say that about a TV series or a movie, I'd be more inclined to watch it than a book, if that makes sense. I feel like with books, I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of a deeper connection to our characters and to, I don't know, the whole setting, I guess. Whereas like movies, you can kind of just put on in the background and it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, it's more of a passive activity.
Okay, what is your next one?
My next one is Binding 13.
So clearly I wasn't successful in the last few episodes in trying to convince you.
Yeah, rewind. What was that, 2 episodes ago?
Yeah, I think so.
You were begging me to read this book.
Okay, guys, I fear I need to call on your help. Can we please flood the comments being like, Jamie, we just need you. We need you to read the Binding 13. At least Binding 13. At least the first book. No, what are your reasons? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not swearing them off forever. I really just, I'm
trying not to look so sad.
I'm just gonna cry now. I don't know, there are so many other books I want to read, and I've heard so many mixed things about Binding 13. Yeah. And like on one hand, I have you who you're like, you love this series and you're like, you need to read these books. And I'm like, I trust you so much. But then I also have some other friends that keep telling me that I would hate these books.
Yeah, so no, that's what I was about to say. I feel like I'm on love side of BookTok when it comes to the Boys of Tommen series. Okay, we won't name names because I'm not going to go after people or anything like that. But what are the opinions you've seen that deter you against it?
I actually just got a message about this morning, which it happens very, very frequently. Wattpad style writing was one.
Oh, I did not get that. That's interesting. I find it's very easy reading. Like it's very simple and easy to read.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm not scared or I'm not repulsed by Wattpad style writing. I also never really got into Wattpad or fanfic in general, so I don't get triggered by the Wattpad style, whatever that is. I don't really know what it is. I think I know, but I don't actually know because I wasn't a Wattpad girly. Yeah, someone said that. Someone also said toxic relationships.
Yeah, I feel like that definitely makes sense. It's not like Magnolia Parks, though, that's toxic relationships to me. This is like a terrible situation and then a relationship.
Yeah, and then I've heard trauma dumping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's definitely like, I can't even defend that one. Yeah, there's a lot of trauma involved in this series. That's why I never say to read it unless you're like over 17.
Yeah, which I don't mind a lot of trauma, obviously. Like, the books I read.
Yeah. But it's a different type of trauma in a way. I feel like the books you read are I'm thinking like immediately because we were talking about it before, the Poppy War comes to mind and like the amount of like trauma involved with that. But that's kind of like morally great characters work, like I'm guessing, working through, and a lot of other fantasy books come to mind, whether this is just like traumatic circumstances in a sense that nobody should have to go through. I think what makes it harder is the fact that it's a lot of it is based off Chloe Walsh's upbringing. So
yeah. That's really
that makes it a little bit, it kind of stabs to the heart a little bit when I found that out. I was like, oh, okay. So look, I do understand. It was just when I saw this list and when I saw Binding 13 on there, I was like,
I'm sorry.
I will in fact just send it to you so you don't have an option. But anyway,
The thing
it
is,
will just be on the TBR.
If anyone wants me to read this book, like genuine, I never like want to ask for things, but I just don't think I will buy this book. But
Do you want me to like text me your address after this episode?
my chances of reading this would be higher if I had it.
Yeah. I mean, always. That's like
Always,
literally
yeah.
like in my recent book shopping trip, that's literally why I bought like a bunch of books that you've been wanting me to read, because I was like, once they're on my TBR, then I'll be more inclined to pick them up. If they're not there, I'm just not going to think of them when I'm picking up my next read.
Yeah, no, your book shopping trip made me very happy.
I'm very excited about it, to be honest.
Anyways, what's your next one?
My next one is Lights Out by Navessa Allen. I have never heard of a name like that. It's very cool. I went to say Vanessa, but I was like, no, Navessa. This one is, I've just seen lots of people say that, so it's a dark romance. And from my understanding, we have a stalker, like a cyber stalker. But then I don't know a lot of this plot. The stalker is also in the same class as our main protagonist or something like that. Like they interact with each other in real life and then they don't realize. I think that's the premise from what I've understand. I've seen a few people do like reading vlogs on this, and a lot of people say it's really addictive. But then I've also seen, specifically who comes to mind, Emmy, she did a reading vlog of this and she said she's not necessarily a dark romance lover, but she really enjoyed like the first 60% of this, and then she kind of felt like it was dragged out a little bit. So considering I'm just not really a dark romance kind of girl, and it's like a little bit, could have ended 50%. I don't know. I just don't see myself picking it up. I also just don't want to be traumatized by a stalker, because if there is one thing that terrifies me, like I could read a horror book and I'd be fine. But as soon as it's a stalker, that's like a real life situation. Like that happens, and that is absolutely terrifying to me. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just not into scaring myself too much.
Yeah, this one's interesting because a lot of the girls in my in-person book club read this one together.
Yeah.
And most of them loved it. Like lots of very, very good ratings from them. So I've been half curious to pick this one up, but I
Yeah.
also think realistically I probably won't, just because again, like
Yeah.
I have so many books to read. I would probably pick up Binding 13 before I picked up Lights Out. But it's never going to be that high up on my priority, Lights Out. So yeah, I don't know. I have heard the audiobook is really good.
I was
for this
literally
one, though.
about to say that. Yeah, I was about to say, I think if I were ever to pick it up, it would be an audiobook version and just like going on walks and slowly getting through it or something. Although, no, going on walks and listening to a stalker, no, never mind. I take that back.
No, that would be very scary.
I feel like
with your like noise canceling on, you can't actually hear anyone around you.
I'm just
You're
trying to go on my like mental health walk and just
just coming back, not feeling refreshed at all.
locking the doors.
Yeah. Ooh,
No.
Speaking of audiobooks, kind of off topic, but I put Addie LaRue on hold because I'm going to try the reread on audio thing. And I've been wanting to reread it for a while. And I'm 32nd in line, but there are 80 copies in use. So I'm like, I could get it any day.
Okay,
So-
that's pretty good. I was about to say,
Yeah.
I was going to not say this, but then I realized by the time this episode's out, my TBR video will be out. And Addie LaRue is on my TBR for the month. So I can let you know when I'm reading it.
Okay, yeah. And then when you read it, I'll start listening.
Yeah, because I am so excited to read it. I've had so many people say that I love it, and I just have never had it on my TBR. Like it's never been I don't want to read this book. It's never actually had it physically, so I've never gone out of my way to read it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And like if I'm also like rereading it or listening to it, then it'll be fresh in my mind. And then when you tell me about your experience, then I'll actually know. Because the thing is, I've recommended this book to so many people, but I read it so long ago that I like literally forget a lot of the specific plot points. Like I remember the general plot points, but a lot of the details I have completely forgotten. So when the people I've recommended it to like come back to me and they're like, I loved this part, I'm like, why don't I remember that? So I just need to like re-experience it again and refresh myself because, yeah, I love this.
No, I think that's a good, I think it's so easy for that to happen though. All the little details, like that is exactly why I read Six of Crows again, because I was recommending it so much. And then everyone was like, oh my gosh, when this scene hit, I was like, what scene? And so I literally, I went back to reread it, and it was an experience all over again, because those kind of books that have so many little important scenes or just incredible characters, you can just reread them. And I've always been a comfort rereader. Like during exam periods in high school, I would always just like reread my comfort reads, because I was like, I can't focus on much, but I can focus on a book I love.
Yeah, I would always, we're going on such a tangent right now, but I would always
this whole episode has been
yeah, we're just chatting today. I would always just pick up one of my favorite books, and I wouldn't even start it at the beginning. I would just open it to a random page and read a chapter, or even just read 5 pages and be like, that was nice, and then close it and put it back. Like, this was such a reoccurring habit of mine, but it's always the best time.
Reminds you why you love reading though, in a way. It just, it's even when we are going through and picking out some books for recommendations, like for our podcast and stuff, when we did that first line video, I got Evelyn Hugo out and I just kind of sat there and like read a few pages of it, because I was I'm having a really good time. Yeah, no, it's definitely a comfort activity for me.
Yeah, it's so nice. Okay, back on track.
Yes, your next one.
City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. This one like made its rounds like a couple months ago.
I actually read this last year on Kindle.
Oh, what did you think of it?
I have got to be honest, I can't remember too much, which is why I haven't continued the series. I just remember like picking it up because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, I should use my subscription more. I actually liked it. It was very adult version of Cassandra Clare for me. But anyway, go on. What are your reasons?
I think honestly, the first book in general, I've heard good things about. And for any of you who haven't heard of this book, it's from what I've heard people say, it's kind of like Crescent City, but more like dark kind of. Yeah, an urban fantasy, lots of different types of creatures, gods and monsters. So kind of every kind of magical monster or beast out there exists in this city. There's a romance, but it's kind of dark romancy, I think, from my impression of it. And I've heard actually good things about the first book. I think it's more about what I've heard about the other books in the series. I think this is another one that a lot of my book club friends have read, and very mixed opinions. So some of them who really loved the first book really disliked the second book, and then some of them who really liked the first book disliked the the other way around. Some people who really disliked the first book loved the second book, which apparently the second book is a lot more smutty. So all the smut lovers were like loving the second book, and all the people who don't like smut were not enjoying it. But I think just because of the mixed things and kind of the inconsistency in the opinions throughout the series, I've just sworn off this one. Like, I've just been discouraged to pick it up.
Yeah, I think that makes sense as well. I feel like I'm always scared with these kind of books that are labeled, having a lot of smut in them, and they're a fantasy book. I never want that to like deter from the fantasy plot. And so I'm always a little, like, I feel like there's a lot of books like this that I'm always just a bit nervous to go into, because I don't want it to be 90% romance, 10% fantasy plot. Like, I've always been like, I love subplots of romance over, that is like kind of the main focus. So yeah, no, that makes sense to me. It didn't stick with me, so I wouldn't rush to read it.
Yeah, and I think these books are also really long too, so it's not even like I could just try the first book casually. It was like long. You gotta pick up. It was very
easy though. I will say I like sped through it pretty quickly. It was a very easy read. You didn't have to think too much. But yeah, there was a lot of different mythical creatures going on.
Yeah, it's just so low on my list that there's there's a lot of other books that I prefer.
So the final book I have on my list, well, kind of a set of books, is Anything by Rena Kent. Again, nothing against Rena Kent, but it's like the God of Wrath, God of whatever series, if you know what I'm talking about. I have just heard things that kind of terrify me about them. And I have this story of one day walking into the bookstore. It was the one that my friend works at. And she was like, hey, we just got these books in. Like, can you just do you know anything about them? Because she usually asks, basically, who can I recommend these to? Do they have to have an age limit? And I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's dark romance. And I was like, hang on, let me have a little flick through. That little flick through was enough for me to see. That little flick through kind of, wow. I was like pretty much every single page I turned to was smart. And I was kind of confused. I was like, I thought there was a little bit, and I don't know if that was just a coincidence. I'm not going to put claims out here, but
you just magically landed on every single page.
And then I was reading it and I was like, wow. And I mean, obviously jumping straight into that, you don't have any kind of lead up to get you into the seriousness of it, let's say. But yeah, I was just like, to my friend, I was like, do not recommend this to anyone under the age of 18. I was like, no. It's a no-go. But yeah, for me, that kind of just put it on my list that I just don't really have an interest in reading it. I think I'd seen a lot of people talk about it and rant about it and how much they loved it. So for a while it was I was kind of curious about it. But after that, I've kind of been like, I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, this is another one I've seen half of the population really love these books, and then half of the population really, really hate these books. Another one, actually, I'm bringing up my book club a lot, but this is another one my book club read. I didn't read it, but I was looking at the book chat, because we have a Discord, and some of them were kind of updating as they were reading, and apparently in God of Fury, I think that's the one, there was 5% of the book was dedicated towards one of the guys, the love interest, describing his male body part and naming it and describing it and stuff like that. But 5% of the book, not even just a little a little fun paragraph or a page, 5%. And these books I think are long. So
that is a chunk of a book.
How many pages is that? And then I heard that and I was like, okay, yeah, no, I don't think these books are for me.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, that's just solidified my thought.
I mean, I've also heard with these books, some of them are very, very good, and then some of them are not good. So maybe you just have to pick and choose which one, and maybe some of the plots are more interesting.
I mean, I know Larry, it's one of her favorite series she's ever read, and I do know that she has quite different taste to me. So, but even her, I think she said that there are some books she absolutely loves and some books that just are not it for her in that series, which, it's kind of always a bit of a gamble, I guess, going into those kind of series.
Yeah, it's funny when there are authors like that. You might love some of their books, but you might hate some of their books, which is I feel like most of my favorite authors, I generally love all their books.
Yeah, none are coming to mind that are kind of a hit or a miss for me. I don't really classify them as a favorite author if it is a hit or a miss, to be honest. But I think that wraps up our list for today.
All of the books and authors we will not read.
If you guys want to convince us otherwise, feel free. I would actually love to hear the other sides to these kind of books, honestly.
Yeah. If there are any books on this list that either Freya or I talked about and you're like, no, you guys have to read this one, let us know. Do give us your arguments. We want to see them.
Yeah, please.
But anyways, if you are still here listening to the end, thank you for listening wherever you are in the world or whatever time zone you're in.
Until next time, stay comfy and keep reading.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on socials for more bookish content.
Bye. See you next time.